What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the More Than Love podcast. I'm your host, Terry Duran, and I got my partner, Jay Bob, on with me. What's going on, Jay?
Not much. Looking forward to getting to another good show for the night.
Yeah, man, we should have a pretty interesting topic tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about what happened to courting. I see that topic come up a lot on my page, so I just wanted to dive into it today. So that should be really interesting. But before we get into the topic of the night, we like to start the show off with a segment that we call Terry's Top 3, where we basically highlight 3 of the most popular or controversial posts from my Instagram page at Terry Duran. So this week we're going to be starting out with the viral situation involving Ayesha Curry and Steph Curry, where Ayesha Curry went on Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett and revealed that she's insecure about not getting attention from other men based on the amount of attention that Steph gets from groupies and women that want him, etc. And so the post it shows the hypocrisy that we often talk about. So it says, female logic. I want some attention from other men. In the response, yes, Ayesha, we feel you 100%. He gave you the world, but not the universe. And then the opposite is, it shows Steph, I want attention from a freak nasty hoe and all bad bitches. And the response would have been, you need to divorce his trifling ass and get half. He should only want attention from you. So I talk about how a lot of the times women treat situations like this very hypocritical, and they'll support a woman, even not necessarily when a woman's wrong, but when a woman's being criticized, they'll come up with excuses for it and explanations for it. But when a man has those same thoughts or feelings, he's penalized and treated as if he's not being date worthy. Now, what were your thoughts on the whole Ayesha Curry comments, Jay?
It's not, most women want attention in some way, shape, or form.
True.
But what it sounds like to me here in this situation was she didn't really go to that little, attention horse stage that women go through, between the ages, say, 18 to 24. Because remember, they've been dating since pretty much college and everything.
Yeah, I mean,
so she didn't really go to that stage. So I think, and think about it, she's got that whole wholesome vibe. So, and she's got kids. Nobody's really checking for her. They're damn near like the real life Cosby kid.
Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. I think that I don't see anything wrong with a person's desire to feel attractive or want to know that they're attractive. The part that confused me is she's called beautiful every time I see people talking about her. Every time they talk about how, Steph's wife, on radio broadcast, they talk about his beautiful family and his beautiful wife and kids and all this type of stuff. She has an endorsement deal with a makeup company. You know what I mean? Like, so
she also has her own cookware, a lot of cookware.
Yeah, well, the cookware don't necessarily have to do anything with her being attractive, but the other things
right,
do.
No, not at all.
And so to me, it's like, man, well, dang, you're recognized as being beautiful by everybody, and you're concerned about random dudes or random strangers giving you attention. Like, to me, that obviously it's an insecurity, but if unchecked, it can really destroy a marriage.
Right, and with Steph is one of the most popular stars in the NBA. He's pretty much a household name. So wherever he goes, everybody's going to know. Whether you go anywhere in the United States, anywhere overseas, Europe, China,
and he's well liked.
You name it.
He's well liked. He's not just popular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, some people are just super famous and they're asshole. But Steph is outside of players talking about him.
He's very respected.
Yeah, he's respected as a man. He doesn't try to pretend to be something he's not. He embraces himself, so a lot of people can resonate with Steph. You know what I mean? But the reason that I feel like her mentality is inaccurate. It's an inaccurate perception of what her husband or what she's complaining about, right? And what I mean is, and if you watch the interview, she talked about women being up in Steph's face and women trying to make their way to Steph. So basically, she's talking about groupies, right? And we know that groupies are motivated by money. You don't have to be
Right.
cute. You don't
I
have to
did.
be attractive.
Right. And remember, we see it on national TV during the NBA Finals game. It was that about 3 years ago. None of that.
Yeah, yeah. And so to compare women that are mostly financially motivated to men showing her attention where that's going to be mostly just sexual, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the same thing, sis. You know what I'm saying? Like, women that most men don't have women throwing themselves at them. The celebrity men that get that are getting it because of their celebrity status and the money and financial benefits that come with it. They essentially want to live your lifestyle. So it creates a situation where she's jealous of the women that are jealous of her and trying to ruin her marriage. And so to me, that just creates a chaotic situation where Steph is, I know he put out a statement, but he couldn't say anything else except he supports his wife and he's proud of her. You know what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't criticize her in this situation.
This situation, it's just a great irony here.
Yeah, I mean, it highlights a lot of what men deal with, and a lot of guys felt like no matter what you provide a woman, they're still going to find something to complain about, and find a way to either directly or indirectly blame it on the man. Steph ain't got no control over these women throwing themselves at them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not at all.
No, they know he's married.
Happen, like I said, it's going to happen regardless of where he goes. Hell, he can go to the Sahara Desert. He's going to get attention.
Exactly. You know, and so I'm glad that she's seeking help. I'm glad that she's owned it and she's talking about it, and she said she was taking medication.
But she did. Like I said, at least she had the self-awareness to know that she does have insecurities here, and her not getting the attention, by I guess dudes in her DMs, makes her feel a certain way.
Well, that's also a contradiction to a tweet that she put out in 2011. Where she went to.
I was just going to talk about that.
Yeah. Where
she was basically saying she doesn't want to in her inbox.
Right, and that is actually going to get talked about in tonight's topic on what happened with courtship, where women complain about thirst, but they do all these things to make themselves more attractive. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have it both ways. You know what I mean? And to me, I always call women out on it because that. Only attractive women say that. You know, the women that are ignored by men and don't get a look checked for definitely do not go around complaining about men being interested in them romantically. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, it's like, man, which one is it? Y'all gonna complain about men shooting their shot or sliding y'all DMs and talk about how much y'all hate it? Or are you gonna push yourself to the point of having to be on meds because you jealous of your husband's attention? Like that has to get worked out. You know what I mean? So I thought it was really interesting. I didn't expect that to blow up the way that it did. I don't think she deserved.
This is probably the most talked about topic over the past week here.
Yeah, I mean, now I don't think she deserved. I don't think she necessarily did anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I applaud people being authentic, people sharing them. Being open to share themselves. I get criticized for doing it all the time. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not a celebrity or nothing, but I appreciate being authentic. That's the only way you can have real conversations. And everybody has insecurities. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be insecure about your height or insecure about your weight. It's how you handle those things. That's what can make it become a cancer to a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not checked, if you don't have the self-awareness to realize it's a problem, it can destroy your relationship. Because think about it. What happens if she's creating arguments with Steph and, telling him if he loved her, you would have done this, or if you love him, you would block all of them. Like, what if she started placing additional expectations on Steph based off her insecurities? At what point does that begin to push him away from her? At what point does that really open the door for another woman to get his attention? You know what I mean? Like, so those type of things can wear on a man or a woman over time. Dealing with somebody that's insecure is a very difficult thing. So I commend Steph for being a man about it and having his woman's back. The next post that we wanted to get into was a post that I put up where it was addressing women in this whole wasting time phenomenon. So the post says, ladies, you can't enjoy all the things that come with being romantically involved with a man and then claim to be wasting time just because you didn't get a commitment. And the reason that I say that is because a lot of times women seem to completely forget everything that happened with their involvement with the man, no matter how much money a man spent on them, no matter how many trips they've taken, how many restaurants they've been to. They only see the fact that they didn't get what they wanted out of it. And now all of a sudden it was a complete waste of time. Well, I take issue with that because they don't say that about anything else they do in their life, even if it could legitimately count as wasting time. A chick could go link up with her best friend and go to 3 malls and be shopping for 4 hours and not really buy nothing. She's not gonna say that's a waste of time. She was doing something she enjoyed doing. She was with somebody she wanted to be with. And so if you don't have that consistency with everything else you do, you can't say that about dating just because you didn't get a commitment.
Well, I think that's the problem is her mind. She's thinking, okay, it's relationship or bust. It's relationship or nothing here. So she didn't get what she wanted. She thinks, okay, well, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a bad way to look at dating.
I think it's rather flawed here to do.
Yeah, I mean, because most dating situations,
you're not looking at the other good things that could have came. Maybe he helped you grow as a person. You know,
right? You might have learned how to manage your money better. You may have a different perspective on things from dating him. Because if you're dating somebody, a quality man, you should be learning from him. He should be learning from you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should be having discussions that spark growth, that help you.
He could have upgraded you, mentally. In a mental capacity, he could have upgraded you. So, wouldn't that be a good thing that you can take into future situations?
Well, see, the way I look at it, it kind of boils down to the definition of wasted time. To me, wasted time means you were trying to accomplish something, or you had a goal in mind and you didn't accomplish anything. Well, your goal on dating shouldn't be to get to a relationship. It should be to figure out if you're compatible enough with the person to get in a relationship. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, so
because you have as you touched on that point, you have a lot of relationships where people aren't compatible. Hell, you probably even have people that are married that are compatible. Like that post you shared, what was that, a couple of weeks ago, the divorce court where you like the guy obviously still the dating stage.
Yeah.
The initial dating stage, and now he's sitting there getting divorced because he wasn't compatible with that woman getting married.
Yeah, a lot of people, people get married because of unexpected pregnancies, peer pressure, parental pressure, things like that. So there are a lot of people that get married for the wrong reasons. That marry people that they're really not compatible with. That from a distance you can tell that this is a disaster waiting to happen. And so I try to prevent it. It's one of the reasons I created my dating and compatibility guide. You can get it at terryduran.com. It's only $1.50. It will help you evaluate the person that you're dating to make sure that y'all have enough in common to have a potential for a healthy relationship. You know what I'm saying? And it's possible for you to date somebody you're compatible with and the relationship still not work out.
No, I mean, that's the point I'm making. Just because you date somebody, there's no guarantee it's going to turn into a committed relationship. Hell, even if it is a committed relationship, there's no guarantee it's going to turn into a marriage.
And even if you get married, you can get divorced. Like, so there's
Absolutely.
nothing that's going to guarantee that you stay with someone forever. The goal is to do your best to make sure that you're not the problem. Make sure you're not the reason the relationship is failing. And
especially, let's just say you're dating somebody that's, you guys are in your early 20s. The probability that, that's the other person you're going to date is pretty low.
Very true. You know what I mean? But the hopeless romantics don't see it that way. They have the Cinderella. I'm gonna meet him at the bar. We gonna meet eyes, and we just go like that. They really have.
I think the high school sweethearts and even the college sweethearts to a degree are few far in between.
Yeah, I mean, and even then, so a lot of times they're not totally compatible. Y'all just like y'all are from a small town, or that's all you know. You know what I mean? Like so. You don't really know what you're missing if you ain't really experienced it. You know what I mean? Like, so I know people like that married their high school sweetheart. They went to college at the same time, got married early, and they still together. They from small towns usually. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and that's a rare occurrence. You know what I mean? Like, so you have to try to make sure that you're putting yourself in a position where, man, I don't want to be with somebody that I'm going to be miserable with. I don't want to be with somebody that I can't talk to and express myself with. And I don't want to be with somebody that every time we have an issue, it's going to be something childish, petty, or disrespectful done that's going to make the situation way worse instead of trying to resolve the issue as soon as possible. You know, like, and that's why you have to see people in different scenarios, different situations, how they interact with different people, and these type of things, because you don't want to wait until you already committed to find that out. And we know from experience, a lot of people, a lot of women pretend to be certain of something to try to trick a man into commitment. And there's a natural tendency when you start dating someone to subconsciously avoid conflict. You know, you might feel some type of way about something, but you don't say something because you don't want them to get mad. You don't say something because it's y'all's first, second, or date. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are things like that where you notice a red flag or a potential problem and you just ignore it or don't address it for other reasons. That happens all the time. And by the time you do get 4 or 5 months worth of that that same thing happening over and over again, it's become resentment. Now you get an attitude every time it happens. You know what I mean? Like, so you can avoid those type of things by effectively dating. And unfortunately, a lot of people fail the dating phase. So I find myself spending a lot of time trying to correct the mistakes, and for women trying to correct their flawed approach to dating, because I think that's where a lot of women go wrong with it. Their approach on trying to guarantee that they get a guarantee or an assurance that it's going to become a committed relationship. I think that sets them up for fuck boys that are just going to sell that dream.
Tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah, and it decreases the chance that they have success with a man that's an effective dater. Because,
but I think, you know, those kind of relationships, you're building something based on more so novelty, I said, than anything else, you know?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things that's
going to wear off and run its course.
Yeah, but people get into relationships based off feelings, based off that honeymoon phase, and how they get excited when they see your name and they got your picture saved. Like, it's stuff like that make people fall in love, and the fact that they stalking your social media and paying attention to everything you do. Like, those type of things are where people gas themselves up into you know, putting themselves in a position where they're almost bound to end up hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because, like we just mentioned, most relationships are not going to last forever. Most dating situations turn out to be flings. Some can last a couple of days. Some can last a couple of months. Some can last a couple of years. You know what I mean? But getting forever or getting some type of long-term relationship that's going to last decades, if that's your goal, you really don't have a reason to rush your dating process. If you are enjoying the dating phase with somebody, there's no need to rush it. There's no need to try to press to make it a committed relationship. Because ultimately,
I think right. As you said, that's another thing I think kills relationships too is when you date for a couple months or whatever it is, and it's like, okay, well, what are we? And trying to push that and almost trying to force it. Like, it's almost like you're trying to force a circle into a square peg there. Like, what are we? And that kind of pushes the guy away. So, you know, especially a guy who's that successful, when he's just going to be like, okay, well, this isn't for me.
Yeah. Once you apply that type of pressure, most guys are gonna repel from it and turn the other direction. Let's shift gears and get into this last post. This is a post that I put up to try to help women with fuckboys. So the post said, "This is ladies. If you find out that a man's lifestyle, relationship status, career, or any other pertinent information about him is drastically different than how he presented himself to you when y'all met, he is a fuckboy. Giving him the opportunity to lie to you and make you feel better won't turn that into a healthy relationship, no matter how hard you try." Now, I wrote this because I hear about these kind of situations all the time. You know, women will write me and they'll be like, man, I've been dating this dude 6 months, and when we met, he told me he didn't have no kids, and I found out he got 3 kids and another baby on the way. And I'll be like, man, how is that not an instant deal breaker? You know what I'm saying? Like, now obviously as a man, it's gonna be very difficult for a chick to hide the fact that she got a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I understand
Right.
how that's something that men can do. But once you discover that someone has lied to you about something that is really significant, they told you they was an engineer, and you find out they never went to college. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, what else can you believe after that? You know, because trust is very difficult to establish. But in order to date, there are certain things you kind of got to give the benefit of the doubt, right? Until you can prove otherwise, or until you see something that contradicts what you were told. You know, that's one of the skills that you pick up on dating. Making mental notes of things that they said and things that they told you about their past or whatnot, so that you can kind of fact check it when those things come up again. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and there are certain red flags, like, that you can expect. Like, somebody told you they graduated from such and such, and you go to their crib and you don't see their degree nowhere. Like, I don't know nobody that ain't got that got a degree that don't have it's in their office, it's in their house somewhere. You know, like, you have certain things that reinforce the things that you were told already. And so
Right. I mean, I just think you gotta do your due diligence in some cases rather than, you know, just taking it at face value.
Yeah, I mean, well, a lot of times they'll just be like, man, they'll find a way to forgive it and just keep going on, keep continuing to date the person, keep fucking them, and it's like, man, I know you can't expect them to be honest with you going forward.
Right. I mean, let's just say, okay, like you say, he's an engineer. He's an engineer, and you don't see no engineer degree nowhere in his house, and you know, obviously, the engineer makes, you know, good money, and you don't see no degree, and he's still sleeping in his mom's basement. You know, actually, that could be still that flag there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, well, it could be anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, but a quality man is going to present an authentic version of himself. Now, that don't mean he's gonna tell you all his business. That don't mean he's gonna give you all the details. But the
Right.
important things about his life, where he's from, what he do for a living, how many kids he got, where he live, like things that he ain't got nothing to lie about. You know what I'm saying? Like, a quality man is usually confident in him, enough in himself to know that women are attracted to what he brings to the table already. So he doesn't have to exaggerate it. You know what I mean? Like, so when you meet somebody that does not do that, that is what we're talking about as a fuckboy. He's misrepresenting himself to women to gain favor with them, to get either attention, time, or pussy, or money. You know what I'm saying? But fuckboys know that that's a temporary game. They know that the smart women are gonna figure out that they was bullshitting them, whether it's after a couple weeks. Hopefully he'll be done hit by then. Maybe after a couple of months. Hopefully she'll be in love by then. Or it could be, you know, a year later and she might have his baby by then. Then she's kind of in a position where her emotions are gonna more than likely cause her to make some bad decisions or accept some things from him that she shouldn't. Because that's one of the things that I constantly talk about. Love makes us either put up with things that we wouldn't put up with from anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to deal with things. You're going to use your resources for people that you wouldn't do those things for. And you're going to deal with things or accept things from them that you would not accept from people that you do not love. And when it comes to dating, that's how these fuck boys and these bums can continue to get women to choose them.
Well, I guess, you know, when you love people who look at things through rose-colored glasses, it's like you're in the eye of the storm, so you don't see the stuff for what it is.
Yeah, you know, they say love is blind. You know, a lot of people, when you're in the love stage or infatuated, it's hard to look at character flaws or things that are going to be problematic. And like I said, that's the reason that I created my dating guide, so that it can help women take that emotional choice or that feeling-based decision and turn it into data. So it has like a dating chart. So you can chart how many times y'all saw each other, what days y'all went on dates. It has, you know, an evaluation worksheet where you can rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 on different things. Responsibility, you know, like things that really matter, communication, etc. So that because when you look at somebody and you got 3, 3, 2, 3, that's a lot different than a dude that got 9, 9, 10, 9, 8 on everything. You know what I mean? Like, so I try to help women kind of remove the emotional aspect of it so that they can sit back, think about the important things. You know, I explain how dating is supposed to happen, and then I give them the tools to actually evaluate the person that they're dating so that they can figure out if they're worth continuing to date or not. So, like I said, it's available at terryduran.com, and it's only $1.50. So, if you can afford a smartphone and you can be watching this podcast, you have $1.50 to spend on a ebook if you're serious about improving your dating. All right, man. Let's switch gears, man. Let's get into the topic of the night. I really been itching to talk about this tonight. We are talking about what happened to courting. Now, every so often, a woman will jump in my comments and start talking about. Usually, it's older women that'll talk about how dating was back in the day, where men courted women, and you know, marriage was more prominent, and committed relationships were more prominent, etc. And so I wanted to talk about why those things have changed so much. And I put together a short list. I think I got the most relevant reasons for it. But I wanted to. Oh, hold on! I'm gonna drop my phone. Got my notes on here. All right, so I took some notes, and one of the things that I did is I looked up the definition of courting. And so the definition of courting someone is to be involved with romantically, typically with the intention of marrying. So I saw one thing in that definition right there. I don't think most men date with the intent of marrying. From a male perspective, at least for most of the men that I've spoken with or seen, dating is treated as something as optional. Now, it may be your ultimate goal. You may hope to be a husband and a father one day, but it's not something that men are going around pressed for. They not visualizing they tuxedo and they groomsmen and they wedding day. Like, most men just kind of want to make sure that if they do get married, they're marrying an attractive woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of the extent of it. Men are not planning their weddings in their heads growing up the way that I see a lot of women are. You know what I mean? And so when the female expectation is to be courted, expecting a man to come to me, hoping to marry me off the rip, that seems like a very inaccurate or unrealistic expectation to have, because that's not how most men are going to do it. Most men are going to approach it with hey, I think you're cute enough. I'm interested in spending some time getting to know you. And everything after that is a let's see what happens. That's very different than a guy back in the 60s begging going to a woman and asking her father for permission to take her on a date and walking her home multiple days just hoping she'll take, you know what I'm saying? Like, that times have drastically changed. If y'all are looking at these old movies and these romantic comedies thinking that a man is just going to be persistent and keep trying and then hopefully one day she's going to give you a chance, that's not realistic.
But I always think that stuff happens in real life.
Man, it do to a degree, but not like the movie that I think about that kind of envisions it in a realistic way. It's an old movie, Jason's Lyric. It's one of Jada Pickett's biggest classics. Where he pursued her from the moment that he saw her. He was stuck and was going out of his way to pursue her. Now, what the things he did in the movie, like he rented out a bus to take her on a date, and like he did some stuff that's movie-ish, you know what I mean? But
right, now that definitely doesn't happen too.
Right, you know what I'm saying? But a man will make his interest known, put energy and effort into trying to get you to like him back, and try to get the opportunity to spend one-on-one time with you. Every man won't give up on the first try, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it depends on how y'all know each other, how y'all interacted. Men are aware that there are outside circumstances that can impact that. You might meet a woman when she got a boyfriend or is just broke up with him, so she's not ready to date. Like, that don't mean that you should call her a bitch and disrespect her and cuss her out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's stupid. That's idiotic. That's not what the smart man's gonna do. He's gonna be like, well, you know, like, he's gonna keep it moving and bet she's still available. Let me shoot my shot next time I see her. Like, it's not gonna be
successful women. I don't see no guy just saying, "Yo, well, fuck you, then, bitch."
Yeah, I mean, man, some dudes are real hood, real ghetto and hood like that. That's their approach to rejection. But the smart men are used to rejection. They're looking forward. Well, I ain't gonna say looking forward to rejection, but they want to figure out if you like.
They're not afraid of rejection because they're like the way they're thinking. Okay, it's not the first woman that rejected me. Ain't gonna be the last.
Yeah, and their goal is to find out sooner rather than later.
Right. If this one doesn't want me, I'll campaign for the next one. Obviously, if you campaign, you're bound to get elected.
Yeah, I mean, but what you have to go into dating with that approach if you're a man, because most of you're not. Every woman is not gonna like you. Every woman's not gonna be available. So the sooner you find out
a bunch of different reasons, you're not gonna be everybody's type.
Yeah,
she might have a boyfriend. She might have a boyfriend. She's in a committed relationship. She's still maybe married, whatever the case may be. So there's a bunch of different reasons. The person has different reasons here as to why she may or may not, take you, give you exchange numbers with you, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, that's one of the differences between men and women. Men understand and handle rejection a lot better. All right, but back to why men don't court the way that they did back in the day. I think one of the biggest reasons is our media has become so sexualized, where sex is talked about in songs and on TV and, on the radio and all these different areas, social media, etc., where casual sex and just having sex is a lot more common and a lot more prevalent than it was back in those days. Back in those days, a lot of men were struggling financially, didn't have their own ability to attract women or have sex. And so you had to be boyfriend and girlfriend to get women to want to do those type of things.
I think, like they say, sex sells, but I think what it is between then and now, it's just that it's not out there as much as you see now. Now you're almost oversaturated with it. Everything's sexualized. So you almost, with social media, YouTube.
Yeah, they got songs about women cheating.
Everyone has access to this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Before, just say okay, if you wanted to watch porn, you had to watch it on the Playboy channel. If you had the bootleg cable or whatever. Now it's through a click of a phone.
Yeah, it's a lot more accessible. Now we've always had we had sexual healing in the 70s and all that, those type of things, but the songs are a lot more graphic. Like a lot of the songs that my mom and them used to play, I'm just now learning they was about sex. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, oh man, I didn't realize they was talking about giving head or like these different type of things in these songs, because they called it something different or they gave it some some cute wordplay. Where now it's a lot more direct. You know what I'm saying? Like you got Megan Thee Stallion talking about, I'm gonna bust in his face and you wipe it off, and like the lyricism is a lot more.
The lyrical content wasn't as explicit and graphic as it is now.
Right, on TV or on his shows, like Game of Thrones. One of the scenes I remember in the whole house, a hoe was giving her dude a blowjob and had nut coming down her chin and wiped it off and tongue kissed another customer a few seconds later. Like you wouldn't see stuff like that on just regular TV back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And so those are the type of images that have created a sexualized society where you don't have to date with the intent of marriage. Technology has played a big role in it. Like we mentioned that it's more accessible. You can access it on the internet, etc. but you can also meet and engage other people in a lot more ways. You can find people that are just interested in having a fling or a hookup. You can meet somebody that pulls up their GPS and tell you how far away they are. Y'all can talk privately. Y'all can interact. Y'all can exchange phone numbers, addresses, etc. Send videos and pictures. So it makes it a lot easier to access people and increase. Like I said, when it comes to dating, it's a numbers game. The more people that you meet and interact with, like you just said, Jay, the more you campaign, the more likely you are to get elected. It's the same thing. If you can meet more people, there are going to be more chances for you to find people that are interested in you and having sex with you. You know what I mean? And so that plays a big role into it. Most people are not, well, at least most guys are not going into dating trying to cut off all the options at the gate. They don't want to get in a situation where they're unhappy, where their sexual needs are not going to be met, or they with somebody that turned out to be crazy. And so jumping into a situation where you trying to propose to a chick right off the bat significantly increases the chance for that, even though there is a chance that y'all could be happily ever after. You know, there are some people that get married, propose on the first date. I've heard of situations like this, and they work out. So there is a chance, but it's a very small chance, and it's not one that I would recommend.
I'm pretty sure it's a pretty low percentage that ends up working out.
All right, now one other thing that I think plays a big role into why men don't court women the way that they did back in the day is this word thirsty. You know, and it seems like women shame men for showing interest, for going out of their way to make it known that they're romantically interested in a woman. A lot of women complain, "Oh, these dudes are so thirsty. Leave me alone. You so thirsty." You know what I mean? Like so it sends a message that it's not okay to make your interest known in a woman. It's not okay to profess how you feel a woman in these days. For a lot of women,
I think, with thirsty, I think that gets misused a lot. Because, like I said, a lot of women mistake just somebody simply just showing interest as being thirsty. My definition of thirsty is a guy, being persistently trying to pursue you after you show them, a point of time that you're not interested.
Yeah, that's something that to me that would be considered thirsty or desperate. But to me, I don't think a man just showing interest in a woman is thirsty. Like you said, what you want him to do? Just ignore you, so you can be like Aisha Curry? You know what I'm saying? Like, or do you want him to let you know that you're attractive, that he's interested, and give you the opportunity to show interest back? You know what I mean? Like, so women can't call that being thirsty just because you wore some tights that you know was gonna show your ass. Now all the men are looking at your ass. Now you calling them thirsty? Like, no, you intentionally showed off your ass or went out your way to make sure that they saw you in a sexual manner. You know what I mean? Like, so that's where that creates a lot of, I don't know, I guess confusion would be the best word. Because
you're right.
Men's feelings towards women has never changed. You know what I mean? Like, their approach to dating hasn't changed that drastically. It's their feelings towards getting married that has drastically changed. And I think that has changed a lot in part due to divorce laws and child support laws. When we see how men get treated in regard to divorce and paternity and child support and these type of things, we have the MGTOW movement where men, I think it was called men going their own way, where they just don't want to get married at all. That they'll still fuck, they'll still occasionally date, but they're not hoping to get married. They don't have any interest in the old family system or the family structure because they feel most women are just trying to use them for financial means. And so these type of attitudes have that plus feminism has kind of erased the courting mentality that women are kind of reminiscing about. You know, the older women that think that men are just going to go and profess themselves and hope a woman chooses them to marry. Like, man, those days are long gone. The dating climate with gay culture and men that don't want to marry women and date women, etc., has shifted so much that the men that women really want to be with or have the opportunity to be very picky and very careful about the women they select, so they are. And it is what it is. You know, they're not concerned with how women feel about it. They're not concerned about people criticizing them about it because they're able to consistently meet their goals, which are to consistently get time, attention, and pussy. The men that are doing that, fuck boy or not, real man or not, good job or not, those men are not really interested in changing the way that they approach women and dating. So I understand why women would fantasize about the days where men courted them and went on the first date and brought you a gift and all that type of stuff, but you're going to be very hard pressed to find that in 2019. And so you're better off trying to figure out how the quality men date these days than eliminating men from dating contention because they're not following some 1970s style of dating. You know,
I mean, you always got to adjust to the modern times. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are resistant to change. You know what I mean? Like, and
I mean, you gotta think anything in life there's always adjustment. You know, things are gonna change. Even things 10, 15 years from now, it's gonna be the same way it is now.
I agree. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, think about technology has changed the face of a lot of things. You know, think about Uber and Lyft. It was innovative to change the way people get cabs now.
Right. I mean,
having to call the local cab company, people do an app on their phone. Can you have somebody pull up right to their house and they know where they are?
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to change and adapt to your environment in order to thrive and have success. And, a lot of women just don't seem like they're very willing to make any changes. They don't feel like anything that they're doing is wrong. They don't feel like their approach to dating is a problem. And a lot of women truly believe that they're going to get the man that they want, that loves everything about them, doing things their way. And that's a harsh reality check that when most of them realize that that's not the case. You know, the men that they want are a lot more rare than they probably realize. And they don't realize that a lot of the ways that they think and behave conflict with those men. You know what I mean? Like, so when they do get opportunities with those men, they're either cutting those men off for reasons that don't really make a lot of sense, or they're doing things to make those men cut them off, which ultimately, now, some of the reasons that men cut women off may not be a big deal, you know what I'm saying? They may be something that's very small or minute, but from a male perspective, if a man is dating multiple quality women, the things that is going to end up separating the two or being the decision maker is probably going to be something small. Like, one got a bigger butt, one sucked dick better than the other, one got a better job. Like, it's going to be something where if you look at that one thing, you could be like, oh, that's shallow, that's fucked up. But you'd be like, well, shit, they was even on just about everything else. You know what I mean? Like, so the ultimate decision comes down to usually something small or minute. And how much he enjoys interacting with a woman, communicating with her, how easy it is to resolve disagreements or conflicts with her. Those are things that really matter too. So, thought this was a real interesting show. Just talking about what happened to courting and why things in the dating arena has changed and the approach to dating is drastically different. Hopefully that can put things in some context and help, some of those women that are reluctant to change understand why that way of dating is not going to come back, and help them understand that it's in their best interest to adapt. So, good show, Jay, man. I appreciate you linking up to do this one with me. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Those of y'all that are struggling with dating, make sure y'all go to terryduran.com and download my dating guide. Share the episode, tell your friends about it, and we appreciate y'all tuning in. This has been another episode of the More to Love podcast. Y'all have a good one.